Commission meeting for December 2013. Mr. Fish, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Chairman Wood,
Present.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Here.
Commissioner Bowers, Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Long,
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Here.
Commissioner Robbins. We have a quorum present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Fish. Moving on to the consent agenda, which would curtail the approval of the minutes for November 4th of 2013. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes? Any comments or corrections?
I have two corrections on numbers 3 and number 4. I made both of those motions. I believe the seconds are correct on those, but I made both of those.
Duly noted, Mr. Fish. Can
Thank you.
we have that changed in the minutes and we'll
Yes.
reflect it next time?
Yes.
With, we're still going? Very good. Thank you. We're working, okay. Okay, thank you. With the corrections noted, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as with correction?
I'll motion to approve.
I'll
We have a
second it.
motion. And we have a second. May we have a vote, please, Mr. Fish?
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowers, Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
Very well. Minutes are approved. Moving on to item 3, consideration and action on CA number 201111856 to apply new signage at 109 North Division Street. Illustration of the proposed work has been submitted for review. The applicant or representative will be present to answer specific questions. Any comments from staff?
No, it's a relatively simple request to approve new signage at 109 North Division.
Okay.
And the sign has, it appears that the sign has already been placed on the window,
No,
but
sir, it's a Photoshop, so you can see.
I see. Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you very much. Because it does, it looks like it is, it's very good. You did good. That's good Photoshop. Any comments or concerns from commissioners? Placement, size, it looks to be falling within the size guidelines that we have set forth. Company, very straightforward, looks fine there. Any other comments or concerns? If not, I would ask for a motion for approval as submitted.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. We have a vote, please, Mr. Fish.
Yes. Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
Excuse me, Chairman Wood?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and yes. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Yes, if you could stand up here and, if you don't mind, please, thank you.
My question is, would you be willing to waive the inspection fee of $25 if I were to send a real photograph of the window?
That is not in my control. That would be, you'd have to take that up with the city and Ms.
If I can respond, Mr. Chair, our fees are set by council, and they are the ones that could waive fees. My inclination from staff would be no. If you have questions, you could start with the city manager.
Okay, call the city manager then?
Call the city manager's office.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
One note before you leave, have you signed the sign-in sheet? Okay, if you wouldn't mind doing it, it's right over there.
Moving on to item 4, consideration and action on CA number 201111739 to apply new signage at 120 South Division. Photo and illustration of proposed work have been submitted for review. The applicant or representative will be here to answer specific questions.
Yes, my name's Kim.
Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Fine. And your name, sir?
Kim,
Kim.
Andy
Thank-
Kim, yes.
As I understand the background, you are requesting new signage at 120 South Division. I believe that there was, am I correct that in the last meeting, I was not present, but the colors have been approved for the building and the facade change?
Yes, that's right.
We're just here for the signage tonight.
Just for the sign alone.
correct.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's
Yes.
just for the signage, yes. As far as that goes, what kind of, I understood that the previous sign was going to be an internally lit sign, which is not allowed here in Guthrie, or in the historic district. Do we have some new photographs of what you propose, sir?
Yes, I got picture. I got.
Okay. Very well. Do we have any other comments from staff on what we have already seen, or?
If I can go through a little bit of bringing up to date, I had a discussion this morning with, Mr. Kim has two sign people, and he sent that particular copy through to me via text message, if you want to take that down. It was the letters would be the 20-inch high and the length commensurate with that scale. And the colors would go with the colors that are outlined in the ACE sheet. Mr. Kim also has a sheet from another sign person, which puts it at, again, the whole thing being 24 inches with a 2-inch trim around it, the letters being 20 inches, the length being about 10 feet long, 132 inches if my math, if Sister Mary Patrick's teaching still keeps with me, good old third grade. At any rate, the color would be more of a brick red type color, and Mr. Kim has a sample of the material that it would be going on to. It looks like a core, kind of a cardboard type core in terms of the insert, but with a sheath around it that would be aluminum, and he has a sample that you can take a look at and feel. What he's looking at is having a background that would be in a light cream colored, which off the, yeah, if you can, what's the color name on that, Jim?
Okay, the color is Birch Park D22-1. And what's the other color? Okay, and the other color Mr. Kim is proposing is Raven's Rage B6-7. The letters themselves would be the Raven's Rage, which is kind of a maroonish brick red, and then the background would be the lighter color.
I'm going to put this over here for the viewing audience. That then shows the font type. It is a serif type, which is pretty normal for a lot of the signs that we have. And again, in this particular drawing, both the drawing figure of the cup of coffee and the letters are all the same color, correct?
I think that the signage looks like that fits pretty well, very well with our district, and it seems like it will look nice on that building too. That was what was shown on the phone.
Now, the colors of the building, do you have those at hand too? So we can take a look at the building colors in comparison to, okay, building 1 is the bronze beauty, okay, and the second half? Okay. Was the birch color? Right. Birch tree, that would be the top part. Okay, the top part of the building is the birch, the bottom part of the building is the bronze. And then we're looking at the lettering in the Raven's Rage, that kind of a deep brick color, which I think would look nice on that.
How will this be fastened to the building? Will it look like some big bolts, or is this going to be framed, or how will that be fastened to the building?
They're looking to find out how you're going to put the sign on the building. How will it be fixed to the building?
Okay, center block, right? Center block.
Center block building.
Center block, this one, and screw, inside the plastic in here.
Okay,
And I think this screw, I don't know,
sounds like a molly bolt. Okay. I think probably what the commission is looking for is making sure that the top of the screw is the same color as the sign, so it doesn't look like there's a big black thing on either side.
Same
Is
color,
that,
yeah,
That's-
same color, yeah.
okay,
Same color, we don't see, yeah.
that's what we're looking for. Okay,
Color, yeah.
perfect.
Are we framing anything with black? You know, as far as the letters, are they going to be framed with any black involved whatsoever? I mean,
As it shows in the photo on your phone,
Right.
is it going to look identical to that, is what I guess I think the question is.
This is from the other one. Are you going to put I love it when you have it large and then it goes small, a border around your sign similar to that, like having a black border around the sign to help it pop?
Light,
No, to put an edge around the sign.
edge, okay. Okay, then, is that-
Like that one is. See how that particular drawing has a black edge on, or frame.
Okay, okay, black color. You don't have
Right,
black
well, black would be approved.
color.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
Black.
yeah,
yes.
black.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, we'll need to write that up in the motion.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
no problem,
Okay,
yeah.
super.
very well.
Sign, go to sign, paper, yeah.
Do you have the sign
Yeah, okay.
page down there? Okay,
The black, the trim,
right,
Yeah.
black trim.
yeah, black trim.
I think at the
White,
last time,
Yeah, black trim, yeah.
I think last time we talked about the lighting with like a gooseneck that comes up over the building did we approve that already? The lighting?
I think at this point, we had a discussion this morning, and it's not lit by any means internally, and at this point, he will not have it lit at all. There appears to be sufficient lighting from the parking area, and his operation time will be probably 6 in the morning, where it's just barely light just through the morning, so there won't be any lighting affixed.
Okay.
Okay.
Frame, black.
Any other discussion or comments, concerns? I feel that the sign now falls with guidelines that we're looking for and what we would like to achieve in town. If we could make a motion, or somebody please make a motion to approve the sign as presented by Ms. Spinato's cell phone with black border and the Raven's Rage red letters.
The sign is according to this.
Yes,
This was
just,
a sample. If you're going to reference one, you need to reference this.
Okay.
With a black border
with
around
black
it.
border. Very well.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
Yes. And I will move that we approve the signage as presented this evening.
Okay.
I second it.
And that is with modifications with the black border.
With the black
Yeah.
border.
Okay. Mr. Fish, could you please find out how we feel?
Okay, Chairman Wood,
How's that?
Yes.
Done.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
approved as submitted.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir, very much.
Yes.
Finished. Yep.
You're done?
Very good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Can't wait for a donut.
Thank you.
Run.
Just FYI, he's hoping to be done in about 2 to 3 weeks.
It looks
Good.
like he
Well,
should
it's
be.
looking good.
Yeah, it's looking great.
Moving on to item 5, consideration and actions on CA 20111-859 for new signage and a facade change at the building located at 206-208 East Oklahoma Avenue. Photos and illustrations of the proposed work have been submitted for our review. The applicant or representative will be present to answer specific questions.
All right, so this
Yeah.
is, this one's mine, guys.
Yes,
And
and
I'm very much open to.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Mr. Long, if you could recuse yourself from the board, and you need to probably come down front instead of
Okay.
sit here with us. That keeps everything
All right.
straight and,
Legal.
Sounds good.
While Mr. Long's doing that, Mr. Fish, would you read the background description?
yes.
The applicant at 206 through 208 East Oklahoma requests approval to, 1, remove tile from building, 2, replace windows, 3, replace door, and 4, change primary and secondary paint colors. Photos and illustrations of proposed work have been submitted for your review. Applicant will be present to answer any specific questions.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. So, Mr. Long, okay, what's going to happen now? How are we going to do this?
Well, I gave you a couple of different options really to work with. My initial thought process is if you look at your picture that says North Point Financial Planning, that it's got the it's cream and the green, but with the windows that are broken up. The windows that are there are no longer feasible to repair, so they have to be replaced. And so I'm looking to take it from 2 large windows to 3 smaller windows, much like if you look in the picture as it is presently, is what it looked like with the windows still there. You can see that 208 has 3 windows, where 206 only has 2 larger windows. And so I'm going to be downsizing it to 3, downsizing the window sizes to 3 instead of 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
So
you can get a scale of how big the windows necessarily are going to kind of look with it going down to 3 instead of just 2 large ones. And then if you look at the, the North Point Financial Planning, that's kind of the look that I'm after. I want to do the coach lights on the sides. Currently, you see that the brick is somewhat covered in those tiles, which are a hazard because they're falling down. And so I just want to go ahead and finish removing them so that it re-exposes the brick. However, many years ago, even behind this tile, there's concrete that's been filled in where the transom windows used to be. So I don't know that it's really feasible to bring those back, but rather encase it and make a signage, much like how you see how the community action sign is now in that place. I would have a place to be able to put some signage, just like the one that says North Point Financial. I could do it was just raised with individual letters, and so it could say Ella Rose Boutique across the top there, and then do a different color scheme. I gave you the colors. I don't remember which ones I chose, but they're on the list. And then also you see this the illustration that looks like that. I want to do the wrought iron signage drop down sign as well with the coach lights.
I think that's, going to look very, very nice. The hanging sign or the protruding sign is a very doable thing as long as it's above 8 foot or just this way it falls within the city code. The only concern that I personally have is with the windows, being that these are true mullion divided light windows. In these buildings, the reason this building is a lot older than, say, a late 18th or late 19th, early 20th century building, and they have full plate window glass. If I'm concerned with that personally, with the look and the continuity with the rest of the historic nature of the
Okay.
town. I think the lights would add to it. I think that that's going to be really nice. The hanging sign would be really nice. The windows I have an issue with just because they're divided light windows. And there's really, well, as you had actually asked me once before, the only other divided lights in town would be on Katie's Diner here in town, and that is a rather new building that was done long before I believe this commission was around or before we had a say in that area. I feel that a true divided light window, if the commission was to approve a true divided, it would have to be a true divided light window with full exposed mullions and divided lights there, which I think would be rather a major issue with maintenance and keeping them painted, or because they would have to be wood and all that. It may be something, if that's not a big design change for you, to go ahead and use solid plate glass, which is what late 19th and early 20th century architecture here in Guthrie. They used it because they could, because it was available to them. And that's why it was used, at this time. Why they didn't just go with small divided lights. They just didn't have that size glass then. As far as the entresol area, I do understand that's probably bricked in. Putting signage above there and making room for that, that's perfectly acceptable too.
Okay. The last item, though, that we need to address also, or one of the items we need to address, is the door. I want to replace the door as well. Currently, those are just standard, I don't know, what are they, 7-foot door, 70, I can't remember how tall a typical door is, but 7-foot door is what's there currently. I'd like to put in an 8-foot door, a tall door, is what I'd like to put in.
That, again, should not be a problem at all. Will fit right in with because the ceiling heights and the scale of the building can handle that, as long as the door itself is a commercial-looking door.
Okay.
Something that mostly, they really didn't have a lot of leaded glass. It was, again, solid panes. But again, I see one we have a picture I think
Yeah,
you've submitted here.
Yeah, and that's the door, the tall one there is the one that I would like. It would match it's got the molding at the bottom that would then be replicated on the building across the bottom, much like we see at some of the other buildings. And this door is available with or without the wrought iron. I just like the wrought iron,
Yeah.
but if the council doesn't like the wrought iron, then that's fine too. But I think it looks nice.
Right. And that does that. I like that door with the 3/4 glass, and that makes it look a true commercial door and not say a residential home-looking door in the middle of a commercial district, so.
And it's a wooden door. That's just a stain color they chose. It could be stained or painted any color, and so.
And that would be fine. The glass, whether it's the wrought iron, again, I don't feel fits with the architecture in town, and that would be, again, up to the board and what everybody else feels. Possibly a large beveled solid pane, as a lot of the commercial doors are in town, would fit more in keeping in continuity with everybody. So that's going to be up to the rest of the commission and see what everybody else has to feel. Is there other concerns or comments?
The hanging sign would be placed where and what's going to be on it?
The hanging sign would be placed just to the, you're looking at the building just to the right of the entrance of the door, up high, and it would be Ella Rose's already approved sign that I think you can see on the window on one of these pictures that I have.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see the Ella Rose decal in the window. That would actually be placed on that oval
Okay.
sign that would be next to the door, up high.
As
Thank
far
you.
as the old Sadler Cleaners sign, I take it that's going to be removed.
It's going to come down.
Okay. I would hope you retain that, please, and into the archives, into the basement somewhere, or that would, something that's kind of a
I've
historic.
had multiple offers on it already, so
Well, there you go.
it
That
may be sold.
There you go.
As long as it's
Good.
saved.
As long as it's saved, that's what I'm getting at. Very well.
Mr. Commissioner, if I could make a suggestion here, why don't we go through and take each of these, I count them 4 particular items, and vote on each one separately, and then we can have a full discussion on each one as we go.
That's very well. We went through the whole thing, and then now we can go back. Thank you very
Right.
much. We'll go back to each one individually. Yes, I guess one is removing the tile from the building in this, and that is that there's a specific name for that kind of glass. I'm not sure, but I understand that was a big thing back in the 40s, I believe.
And and you can still find it in a place in Missouri, and it's pretty expensive to buy now.
Yeah.
So that'll be for sale too if anybody needs some.
I, for one, am looking forward to it coming off.
Yes, I'm looking forward to coming off too. I think that's really good. So if we're taking these one at a time,
That's a good
I
place to
would.
start, and it
good
sounds
start.
like a motion
And that's-
almost.
Yes, I'd like to.
Okay, we'll just finish it, make it a motion to allow the removal of the tile from the building.
I second,
Very well.
emphatically.
May we have a vote, Mr. Fish? It was-
Okay, who seconded it, please?
Aaron Brown.
Aaron
Okay.
and Kim did the first.
Yes.
Chairman Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Let's make it unanimous, yes.
Amen.
approved as submitted.
Oh, what about discussion on once all that comes off?
Okay, so once all that comes off, there's a couple of things that could happen. The reason why my first thought was to just clean the brick. There's some nasty grease round spots from the adhesive to keep that stuff on there. I think it can come clean, I think. But the second option was, as I was looking at what I was going to do with it, because of that nasty concrete that's filled in where the old windows are, if you can go, you can see when you're inside the building in the attic space, you can see that they boarded that up, but did the mesh, and it's concrete that's in there. And so that would be kind of a chore to take that out. And so do I just paint that? You can see kind of Harrison's Chicken House, kind of what they were left with. I don't know exactly what I'll be left with once I'm popping all that tile off of there. I don't know if it's going to come off so pretty. So my thought process is I better be ready just to cover it back up, which is why I found those photos of, like, for instance, the North Point financial planning and that cream colored building with the black windows with the wrought iron and the cream. So those both have kind of a wooden facade. Particularly the North Point, you can see it's a brick building that they've placed a wooden facade on the front and just painted it. And we have plenty of those downtown as well that kind of have a wooden facade downstairs that have been painted, much like John Sinan's building there on Oklahoma. And so that's what I've decided to go with. Plus that allowed me to be able to put in those coach lights and do that additional signage to really make it look nice.
And the coach lights then since we're at that point, the coach lights would go up above and high onto that,
Yes.
what was the old entresol area. Okay. I see.
You would see where the one with the wrought iron sign, you can see that those coach lights are high, way above, way above door height.
Yes.
a few things that I'd like to throw out there for consideration by the commission and for you as well. Oftentimes, from things that I've read, and haven't done it myself, so, I'm certainly not the expert here, but when you pull away a facade that's been added, oftentimes, as you indicated, there's still something back there that has been totally, how shall I say, worked over, but there may still be some guts to it at some point. Maybe 20 years from now, you may decide to pull the wood off and go back and put it together, or not. But if possible, whatever changes you make, if you can keep it simple enough so that it doesn't further deteriorate what the original facade was.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, clean it up. We don't want to see the brown grease spots by any means, but let's not make any permanent changes to what still is back there. That's, everything that I get from SHPO would indicate something along that line. And I'm looking at Aaron down here for some
Yes, please
words.
take pictures. Lots
Yeah,
and lots of
document
pictures.
everything as you go.
Well, and trying to redo this facade, I went to try to find pictures of this
Right.
building to see what it did look like, and unfortunately, this
Nothing.
building is so insignificant, there's none that exist.
Well, I think it was very important, but it was standing at your front door that they took all the other
Yeah,
pictures.
yeah, the Ione Hotel, which was across the street.
Right.
Lots of photos, but nothing of the facade of this one.
But
So,
you look at the brickwork up at the
Yeah.
second story, it's absolutely
Yeah, it
beautiful.
is.
It's gorgeous. That's something you don't see anymore. And that, of course, isn't going to be touched, but heaven only knows once that glass comes off, what may be back there. So, and changes that you make, keep it, along the 1890, early 1900 period and not colonial. Okay,
Don't match a bank?
I'm sorry,
Don't match a bank?
something like that, yeah. Okay, thank you.
So, okay, thank you. Yes, as far as now that we've discussed the glass and taking care and making sure that we try to keep the building as intact,
oh, yeah.
as possible. Is there any other discussion on windows, or on the front facade? If not, we will move on to windows. What does
Okay.
the commissioners feel with the windows and how Mr. Long is presented for divided light windows? I feel I've made myself clear with not really,
I'm with you, Ed. I like the mullions. I like what looks like the time period. I don't want it to be modern, so, the look of individual panes. I like that. That's the time era that I'm looking for. I don't want to see a big glass with a divided, is it called a divider?
well, the mullions, I take it that, I don't know exactly what type of window would be going in there, if it would be true with because the true mullions give shadow lines in the whole thing, where the windows that are going in, I guess, are double pane with the mullions in between the glass.
That's correct.
Yeah.
They're a wooden window with the dividers in between the two sets of glass so that it's easy for window washing. So it gives you the look, but it doesn't give you, it's not
Yeah.
historic in the aspect of that's how they did it then, because they didn't. But it gives you the look, but it doesn't give you the hassle of each individual windows.
And I just don't feel that fits the nature of Guthrie, in that, again, it's a colonial look, and then, of course, with the mullion inset in the glass, when you're right up next to it, it's obvious it's a brand-new piece of glass and a new window, and then that takes away. It becomes a new facade. It doesn't look like an old facade, is what we're trying to put back here. And it even our design guidelines of 3.5 on page DG 17 on windows, it kind of mentions and goes over that to try to keep the windows exactly like they came out. And even when they have to completely be replaced, to save elements of the old windows to match them as best as you possibly can. So I feel that, in my opinion, I feel that, I know you're going for a mullion type of divided light look, but I just don't feel it goes with the nature of Guthrie.
In the historic photos, most of the storefronts are the very large, single pane windows. And I know it's a huge pain to redo those. I've had to replace several of them on one of the buildings here in town, so I understand, but it's the single pane storefronts.
Sure.
So,
So is that going to be a major problem? I mean,
I'm not going to throw rocks at your house. I know you live across the
Okay,
street.
yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, you know what, guys? It's very, I'm open for either or. Really, I just want to get rid of plywood and put up a new facade. And I want the tiles down, the windows, whether they have the mullions or whatever you call them, the smaller panes. I can take it or leave it. It doesn't matter to me. I was just going for a look. I think the look can probably still be achieved with just open pane, just the large glass. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
okay. What, you don't like the plywood?
Especially with Toys for Tots painted on it?
I know.
Well, any more discussion or any more comments? Anything that anybody else would like to add to the discussion on windows? If not, I would.
I do, though, want to make sure that it's, because I am going to, with approved, downscale it from 2 large panes to 3 large panes, so that it's not,
And I don't feel that that's a problem.
I don't either.
I think that that's perfectly acceptable. It stays within the,
it drastically reduces the price if you can go to 3 instead of just 2 large.
and I would say that that window possibly was 3, possibly 4, when it was original, because this is a relatively
No,
new
not
window.
original, yeah. I mean, yeah,
This
and
window has been replaced sometime many, many years ago.
yeah, and you can see the 208 next door, it is 3 instead of the 2 larger, so
No.
same size opening, just different spacings.
And I'd say they were replaced. That whole storefront, obviously, well, when they did the glass
Probably when they
front,
did the tile.
they took out the entresols, and I'm sure that there was a lot of different things, inset doors and all sorts of things on the building. So no, that's not I don't feel that that's an issue, and I don't believe that would be an issue from staff or
Okay.
anybody that think that will look perfectly
Okay.
fine. That said, any more discussion? If not, entertain a motion to approve the new windows as solid light windows with 3, changing the front to 3.
I'll
on
make the motion to
two
approve the windows of large single.
large
And the-
single
And the
pane.
color of the mullion in between the 3
Sure.
panes?
There will be, oh, well, that would be, I don't know if we've got the colors yet. We haven't talked about paint colors yet. We haven't got to the color, so.
Would that match?
But
or-
there'll be no mullions or whatever, it'll just be open pane, but the space, the wood space between the windows is on the paint color, yeah.
The
it's-
style,
Okay.
the rails, I guess, or styles, would be the
Yeah.
styles.
I
The
just-
styles
yeah,
would be,
between the 3 pieces of large glass.
yes.
The 2 strips of,
It will be wood, it will be wood,
thank you.
so, it'll be wood, so it'll be painted the exterior color.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm sorry, I guess I was taking that for granted, but you're right. Thank
Yeah.
you for clarifying that, because
No,
I
it will
had-
be wood,
when you said everything was wood, I was just expecting it to.
no, it will be.
Okay. So, there's been a motion for the windows. I have a second.
Second? Go ahead.
We got 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Okay.
May we have a vote, sir?
Chairman Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bothright,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Long, oh, I'm sorry,
Yes,
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
Okay, approved as submitted, or as noted.
Well, yes, as submitted and, no,
As a-
very good.
Yeah.
Moving on to the new door, which is the next on our list. Again, are you going to replace both the doors on both addresses, or just going to be the one on 206?
I'm going to start with just 206, because that's where the window has fallen out. But eventually 208 will be done as well,
Okay.
to mirror.
And again, the door that you submitted, the moving it to 8 foot, I feel there's no problem.
Okay.
As far as I can see, as long as the other commissioners don't have a concern. Again, with a solid light glass to match the other window, the window front with that style, 6470 that you gave us the picture of,
Yes.
with a 3/4 light. Is there any other comments or questions from commissioners? I'd entertain a motion to approve the door.
Make a motion.
We have a motion and we have a
I'll
second.
second.
And we have a second. And of course, that will, now, it will be painted to match the rest, or is it, I guess it could be stained also.
It could be stained. Honestly, I don't know. I was going to just paint, but I could stain it.
Okay. Either way,
Yeah.
I feel that as long as it matches the front of the building, and matches, and it should be perfectly all right.
What kind of door do we have in the middle? Is there a door in the middle of the building? Is there a-
Well, there used to be a door. You can't see that in the picture there. I've already removed that, honestly. There used to be, right underneath Sadler's Cleaner, there was a double door there, and that was squared off. But I've completely removed that and re-exposed the arch, the brick arch that was there,
Oh, okay.
which you can't see, I don't think, in any of the pictures that I've provided you with.
The doors are inset, which is pretty typical for architecture like that and up there, and those are still original, I believe.
The doors that were in the center,
Yes.
no, actually, it was a brick arch that's re-exposed now. There wasn't a door there at all.
But recessed back in.
Oh, recessed back in, yes, I did put a door back in. I put a door in the center, but I don't know I don't know that there was ever a door. If you can kind of see in the one where the boarded up, you can kind of see how there's that brick arch there that's now. And there's a little inset inside there that used to be a window where they could get their door key. Upstairs was a nightly room rental originally.
I would
The
say
hotel.
originally there was a door, that they were recessed doors. That's 90% of the buildings in architecture like that. That was, like you said, the arch was, you reopen the arch, which again took away the frame for those doors on the street. So there would have been, at that little landing, that's where you put a door basically back where there was.
Yeah,
one
I did put a door,
before.
yeah.
So is that,
Yeah, and it's a wood door, right? The inset?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
we have a motion, a second. May we have a vote, please, Mr. Fish?
Chairman Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
approved as submitted.
Thank you.
So what did we just vote on? Sorry.
Your door.
The door, okay.
Your door with a solid light.
Number 6470.
Yeah, number 6470, door style with solid light.
Okay, so no wrought iron no wrought iron on it. Is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
Okay.
Moving on to the paint colors. Let's see.
I think we have sign also.
We,
Sign and coach lights?
well, I haven't got, if we can go to that next if you like.
Whichever.
I was just going down the list on my, and I didn't see sign or coach lights, but we will get to that. We can do the sign and coach lights now. That'd be very good. Any thoughts or concerns from commissioners on the sign placement?
I'm sorry, I may be jumping the gun here. I noticed we had a hanging sign circled, but I'm not seeing a sign submitted. Is that for a future?
No, that will be, yes, the circled sign is what I would like to hang at the entrance of Ella Rose for their signage. I thought,
That was the question I asked earlier. What would be on that?
Yes.
And it's the current sign.
The current Ella
Okay,
Rose sign
gotcha.
that's on
Would just
the-
be transferred to that.
to that.
Okay.
And I feel that's very acceptable, nice-looking beautiful sign that should give them a lot more exposure. And that's a nice-looking hanging sign that you have there, too. So, again, as long as it falls within the sign guidelines above the city street, then there's not going to be a problem as far as following the dimensions that's spelled out, so.
Okay.
And as far as the coach lights, I think that adds a nice touch.
I do too.
I don't feel that infringes with anything and it'll help, again, draw attention and everything. to
What would
those
be the
lights.
placement of the coach lights, James?
There'll be, if you'll look at the, where the tile is to the left of the door at 206, you see that there's two tones there. There's a deeper red and then that tannish color. That's actually kind of an elevation change. It's like a pillar for the whole building, so it'll be on that. And then if you look to the right of where the boarded up window is, it'll be to the right of that. On that also, it's kind of an elevation change. The bricks come out, a half a brick's width, and it's like another pillar for the building. So there'll be, yes, there.
So,
Uh-huh.
I need to show this for the, well, if he moves, okay. So what we're talking about is right here on top of that brick pilaster here, and then the other one, I want you to notice I'm doing this backwards,
Yeah.
okay? So I
I
get
think
points for this.
Ms. Brown
I've
kind
been
of did,
drawing on
Yeah.
the picture.
kind of drew a sketch, if that's, we can show.
Yay, Aaron, thank you.
Yeah.
Clear to me now, thank you much.
Yeah.
I take this as, if you would take a look at it, I think that what you were describing is,
If I could have that back here, I can show this to our camera master. Okay. So we're looking at sign, coach light, and another coach light. Thank you. Can we have, okay.
Thank you
I'd
very
like to
much.
keep a copy of that.
artist extraordinaire. Any other concerns? Nothing? I would make a motion to approve the signage and the lighting as submitted.
We have a first and a second.
We do have a first and a second, yeah.
I'll be the first.
I'll be second.
There we have it. Yes, we do.
Yay.
I think those will look very nice.
Yeah, it's going to look good. May we have a vote, Mr. Fishb?
Yes. Chairman Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner, Mahoney,
Yes.
approved as submitted.
Very good. Now, moving on to paint. I can't really make out on my paper here. You already have colors picked out?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wrote them down on there, but I don't
Yeah,
remember
it's
what
on
they
the
are.
Secondary.
application.
Okay.
D21-3 travertine. That would be the primary paint color, and the secondary is D42-4, I believe.
Faded jean.
Yeah.
Okay, and I guess the faded jeans is going to be the full field color. That's going to be is that what we have here? Color,
The-
secondary, or no, let's see, secondary paint color is going to be the faded jeans. The primary is going to be the, I guess that would be.
If you look at the North Point financial planning, this is my, if I remember, the darker color will be where you see the green, and the lighter color will be where you see the tan.
Okay.
It looks like they have a third color also.
Yes, but I don't,
You don't see doing,
if I do, I might, I don't see that I do a third color.
okay.
Yeah, it looks like the inset, the panel trim is painted a different color.
Yeah, I think they've painted it like a red to match the door.
Yes.
If I did anything, honestly, I would do black as a inset trim color, but I don't,
I think that's going to look really nice down there.
I do too.
That would go
Fits.
nice with your wrought iron.
Yes, and, yes. Any other questions or concerns with paint? And if I could entertain,
Can we, I don't mean to interrupt that, but
No.
just color choice two for the additional sign or the letters that would say Ella Rose Boutique across the top where you see that financial planning thing.
Right.
Those would, the color choice for those would
Would those be on the window?
no.
they would
Okay,
be,
because you have a primary sign already with a hanging sign?
yes, that's one thing with the signage. Either we have a primary, a hanging sign or a sign on the entresol would be the only two signs, other than signage on the window.
Okay. Can I ask to petition that? Because I think if you look at North Point, I mean, if you look at it, I think it sets it off. I think it looks great. I think even if you look at the North Point, they have, I don't know if it's a sign or what it is, that comes out from there, it kind of casts a shadow. You can see it on the building up high. I'm assuming that's some type of something, signage, or a place for it to hang. I think it would, I think that if you're looking at the building, you can see a sign that says Ella Rose Boutique. If you're standing away from the building, down the street, then you have the sign that pokes out that, so you can see the Ella Rose Boutique is down the street. I think it would look nice.
Just for,
Because if you
Ordinance.
look at North Point Financial, I mean, it's in one font, each individual letter. There's no logo or anything. And then if you do the wrought iron sign, it allows her to be able to put her logo on there and identify with her look.
I don't know if there's going to be room for a sign hanging over and, I mean, wouldn't it be covering
No.
up?
We've got more height there than what looks like probably North Point has. If you look at, find the right picture. I mean, that concrete actually goes to those first two tiles that are up there. I mean, so that's going to have to be filled in, wooded, the first two tile heights. And you'll have
Because
plenty of room.
You're already going to have your colonial, or is that what we call them, colonial lighting?
No,
Well,
the coach,
I'm
coach
sorry.
lamps,
Coach lights.
bracket lights.
But you're going to have the lighting, and then you're going to have a sign, and then,
I mean, I don't mean to be arrogant about it, but nothing that I've done has been trashy. I mean, I try to do everything in a very classy, very well-positioned, that has lots of aesthetics.
And I'm not sure that's the question that
yeah.
we're wrestling with.
Yeah, no, I
Are you
understand.
saying that
Don't-
two signs are not allowed on a business, or?
Well, I think we'll need to work this through, and with
Okay.
everybody discussing it, we can.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay, I'm on page SG10, under size and quantity. Signs must not, this is number A, 5A. Signs must not obscure, dominate, cover over, or disfigure architectural or historic features or details. B, each commercial building is limited to one primary business sign per elevation. In addition, each business may also place secondary signs directly lettered on a window, door, or storefront glass.
So Ella Rose could be actually put on the glass that you're putting on. But as
But
far
not
as,
above.
but not on the entresol, because you already have a hanging sign there. Or without the hanging sign, you could not have it on the glass and have an actual, just like you're saying, on this North Point. It could be
And I-
on, it could be on the.
And I understand what you're saying.
And it's not you, and everything you've done is very tasteful and beautiful. It's just the guidelines that we have that's already been set out that everybody else deals with, and what we have to
Sure.
deal with everybody. So it's kind of a either-or situation there.
Is there, I'm just bringing this up for discussion purposes. What is it, I believe it was was it Treasured Antiques across the street? They had lettering above or was it below the entresol, just in that horizontal beam part. And I believe that lettering was maybe 6 or 8 inches. It was relatively small.
Very small, yes.
And I'll be honest, I don't recall if there was anything larger. Could we, and this is a double wide storefront, it's not a 25-foot, this looks to be the double, so it's a 50-foot, so you're going to have 2 businesses there, correct? Okay. If in a 6-inch space, could something lettered be put there that would indicate what was sold? I'm trying to go through the lines, still remain.
No, and I understand. What I keep
I-
thinking of is Granny had one, when they had their hanging sign that went this way,
Yes.
and they have restaurant in huge letters,
Exactly.
As a secondary sign, and that's.
but it's not on a window.
Right, and that would have been a secondary sign, because it doesn't advertise the business. In other words.
Okay, so if he had the word boutique,
Yes.
That would be a secondary sign, and secondary signs.
instead of Ella Rose Boutique.
You could do Bella Rose as you're hanging.
As you're hanging,
And just the word boutique above.
Okay.
that would be a workaround for our,
And you know, I'm on this council, or on this board, and I'm on here because I believe in it, but I think we're splitting hairs because of the letters, or the words we're deciding to spell. If we're allowing it now, because we're allowing the letters to be placed up there, now we're dictating what letters, what words they can form.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yep.
I guess I'll take what I can get, but this is what's
I think,
frustrating.
I think with the coach lights and just making the building look very nice, I think with the coach lights, with Ella Rose Boutique sitting in between the coach lights as your sign on the building, I think that would look absolutely gorgeous. And I don't think that, since you have the coach lights hanging from the building, I think it would draw enough attention that you wouldn't need a hanging sign. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I don't, you know, the reason for the hanging sign is as you're standing at the top of Oklahoma Avenue, looking down
Right.
to see a sign that says there's something else down there.
Right.
I mean,
But I think,
that's my purpose.
yeah, and I think that the coach lights, I think, will draw people's attention. Oh, I wonder what's over there. That building looks pretty. I think the aesthetics will draw people anyways.
and as you mentioned, you're on this board, and I agree with you, there's a lot of things in this book that it is now becoming to a point where I think we on this board, and I want to put this on the record, that we need to sit down and go through this book again and address issues like this, because signage, you're right, we want to make this a business-friendly place, even though we have to have business in antique structures. We're still a viable commercial community. We're not a museum, so to speak, where we dictate extremely what can and what can't be put there. Well, we said pretty much what we can't put there, but it's not as business-friendly as it could be. But this is what we have to work with at the moment, so until and that's why I think all of us on this board and through staff, we can change it to make it still acceptable with a very close, tight eye to historic preservation, but yet still be business-friendly for signage and things like that. So, but then that's just a comment that, editorial, I'm sorry, that I wanted to throw in there. As that goes, yes, we probably are splitting hairs with what we have here as far as a primary sign and a secondary sign, and then we would be allowing it to go on the entresol instead of on the glass, or in a smaller, or however it would hang there. So that would be a concession. So.
Okay.
I have an idea. What about if you have the hanging sign, you already have a sign on the window, and what about in the entresol area? Where did my North Point go? What about instead of this saying, "The business again," what about some of her decorative elements, her blue roses that are in her logo? Just decorating a little bit. It's not another sign, but it still is an identifying marker, decorative marker for her business as another option. I do think the blue would disappear on the faded jeans, though.
I'll take the boutique lettering.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do think, though, I mean, on the record, if we feel like we're splitting hairs, where at this point do I, or any citizen, apply for a variance from that? I mean, it just seems asinine to me that we can't do that because it doesn't say, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think it just, because we are splitting hairs, it's just determining what words we're spelling at this point. We're allowing the letters, but now we're determining what words. That's not cool.
It goes to being a sign. I mean, there've been other instances where people have requested a sign and a hanging sign that protrudes over the sidewalk, and this commission has said, no, you can have a sign on the facade and you can have a sign on the window, lettered, and that's it. It doesn't mean that we're saying what words go on there, but rather the nature of what it is.
Okay.
I hope that.
That's as far as I can go with that.
No, that's fine.
I hope that clears it up a little bit, but yes, that has happened in the past. You're not the first person that's wanted both signage on the facade and a hanging sign, and it has been turned down many times. It's just because that's the way it's written. And that's why I said earlier, we need to come back and address that. So I think that that's something that needs to be done this coming year.
Okay, this started because you wanted to talk about a color for those letters that are going to be
Black.
black. Thank you.
Get back on track.
Well,
Well, it's kind of hard to make a
I'm glad
motion
it
if
went-
we don't know.
But it is. I'm glad we did there, and thank you for bringing it back in.
Certainly.
So, that being said,
So I'll make a motion for the colors of travertine and faded jeans colors and black, an option to add black trim or black letters. Is that what we agreed on?
yes.
Yes. And I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. May we have a vote, please, sir?
Yes. Chairman Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins is not here.
No.
Okay. Approved as submitted.
And very well. I believe that, was there anything else that we were here to discuss with the building,
No, that's it.
James? Very well. I think that we got through that. I'm glad we all lived. Moving on to new business. Any new business? And welcome back to the commission.
Thank you.
No new business. Moving on to reports, comments from staff.
I have no comments, just Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody.
one and
too.
all.
To one and all. Comments from commissioners? No comments from commissioners. I would make a motion then that, yes, everybody have a very Merry Christmas as a motion. So I hope everybody seconds that. But that said, moving on to 9, adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
A motion.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.